Hello and welcome everyone to our first RSL Active session for 2025, commencing north of the river. So my name's Andy and it's great to see our faces who've been here before, but for all the new faces, a big welcome to you. It's lovely to meet you. And for those online as well, welcome. Better fix this up, right? Okay. So hello to you for the playback at home. So if you've come here today thinking, okay, I need to follow along, I just want to reassure you that we'll be sort of more stop-start and building the foundations each week so that at the end of the 6 weeks, we'll be able to do a full yoga flow. So if you've done yoga before, it's about reiterating, well, what modifications have I got now and how can I do this? And exploring what your body is saying to you. So having said that, pain, if you're in pain, please back off, because pain's no good, but discomfort because we've not used a certain muscle or stretching in a way that we haven't done for a long time is okay. Right, so but I just don't want you to be in pain because that could be a potential for some injury. We see some blocks here. Sorry, you'll see some props here. I encourage the use of props. If you can sort of see where the knee pads are, if you've had any knee replacements or you've got some dicky knees, please feel free to use them. I can give you the different options as well. The blocks will help raise the ground level for you to be able to then maybe sort of like touch down and have an extension, as well as the straps which you can use, and then I'll give you the prompts to use those during the session. So today, as we've got the different levels. All right, so when we usually start off with is if we could start off on the floor, we'll be doing an all level or beginner focused yoga session. All right. Okay, yes, okay, oh, no worries.
No, I'm just a bit afraid because it's
because
not that old, my knee replacement.
Oh, okay. All right, so did you want to do some chair? Would you like me to get a chair if you...
Look, I'll give it a go.
Okay, no worries, because I have provided some chair yoga before and can give those modifications. So if there's at any point, right, I'll be guiding you through the session. But if at any point you feel that need to go, well, I just need to stop, then you can stop and then rejoin at certain parts. I'm not precious about that, it's your practice. So any moves are merely suggestions for me or for you to be able to go into them, and it's about exploring where your body's at on any given day. We change over a little bit, and like with today, I'm going to chat a little bit more because then I want to make sure then you all feel comfortable about what we're going to be doing in the session. All right, so the first part of a yoga session usually would be arriving on the mat. So in whatever way you feel comfortable, you can sort of sit in a cross leg, or you can sit with the open. That's absolutely fine. We're just looking for our sit bones, and if you feel comfortable, is perhaps closing down your eyes. And we're just going to arrive on the mat by exploring what's happening inside our body at the moment. So maybe we might be looking at how our breath is without shaping it. See if there's any sore points. Right, and then have a look to see maybe what can be of need of some TLC today, or am I gripping onto anything that I might need to let go of during this session. Alright, so I'm just going to take a few breaths here before we start shaping the breath. Perhaps you might want to jiggle and feel your sit bones on the ground while we're doing this. Hey man, there you go. Are you doing the workout, or are you doing the gym? Are you doing gym, or are you the yoga?
I'm into yoga.
Oh, hey mate, how you going? Yes, no worries. So just close your eyes down. I'll get you away. Grab that. And I'll get this out for you. There you go. A big welcome. And so like what I was saying before, so what was your name, mate?
Vaughan.
Vaughan, pleased to meet you. I'm Andy. A strap, something for your knees if you've got some bum knees. Take your time, just go and position that in between so you don't hit the mat. So everyone just take a comfortable position, legs crossed, alright, or legs up, whatever it is. We're just arriving on our mat. And then seeing as maybe feeling our sit bones on the ground, maybe feeling or letting go of our shoulders. At any point, Vaughan, if you feel the need to sort of stop doing any of the poses, we could just stop and then rejoin as needed. It's your practice, so you know what's best for your body. I'll just be merely making suggestions. If you're in pain, back off. If you're in discomfort, that's okay. You're probably using different muscles or stretching in a way that you haven't in a while. It's a bit more start-stop. And yeah, so if you'd like to be able to just take that comfortable seat, feel your sit bones on the ground. You can close down your eyes. And just take a few more moments here, just doing a self-body scan. Letting go of any checklisting that we're doing at the moment, or if that comes into your mind. And then come back to the breath. So from here, let's just all take a collective sigh through breath through our nose, breathing in through our nose, and then letting go through the mouth. Let's do this 2 more times. You can open your eyes or close them, whatever works best for you. 1 more time. And then letting go. 1 last time, inhaling and letting go. Alright, so from here, let's get our hands forward, and we're going to be starting to stretch our lungs like we're warming them up, stretching a balloon out. Alright, so from here, just reaching forward, and then we're going to breathe in. As we let our lungs fill up, looking to the sky, and then we deflate like a balloon. And then let your shoulders go, let your head go, and just go loosen up your neck. Right, from here, let's do this 2 more times. Breathing in, feeling the air go to your belly, to the midsection in your chest, and then up towards the sky. Maybe we might want to take 1 extra sip of air, and then let that go. Let's do this 2 more times. Inhaling, low, mid, high, and then letting go. Fantastic. 1 last time, inhaling. Allowing your breath to guide your hands, and then exhaling. Alright, so from here, we've got a little bit of a loose jaw. Let's maybe get our fingers, right? And then if we look for our jaw, right, let's open our mouth, and we're just going to place our hands on top of here, and we're just going to do a bit of jaw release. Alright, just using our breathing slightly here. We might change directions with our thumbs. Alright, it's just releasing some of the pressure in our jaw. We might want to then open and close our mouth. Maybe take it from side to side. I'm just going to turn my back to you as well now. So from here, get your hands in the same position, and then in the back of your neck, just feel for the back and base of your neck that joins to your head, and then there's a bit of bone that you could work your thumb in. Alright, so we're just releasing some of that tension that we might be storing in with our thumbs. From here we might want to do some yes and no's, just to release some of that tension. Alright, bringing the hands down now. Alright, so from here, again, we're going to start warming up a little bit more as we arrive onto our mat. So this next one's a slight change, it's inhaling. As we hit the top, let's just cross our hands, and we can lean to your right, my left. Right, and what we're looking for here now is we don't need to lean all the way over to the ground. We might be just actually looking up at our hands and imagining our opposite sit bone is being grounded. Right, so let's take a breath in through our nose now, and seeing where that goes, and then exhaling through the mouth. And as we exhale, we might want to reach further. So let's do this 1 more time. Inhaling, releasing, and then exhaling, lengthening as we reach up, and perhaps we might feel that our side ribs extend. So inhaling now, come up to the top, breathing in, and then down. All right, so you know where we're going with this next one is the other side. So inhaling, Grab the hand and exhaling. Whichever way, other side to what you went the first time. And we're going to inhale, exhaling, and reaching further. One more time, inhale, exhaling, reaching for the sky, and then imagining our sit bone is also grounding into the ground. Inhaling to the top, and then down like a balloon. Let's do this one more time on each side. Do you need a chair? I think I'll get a chair for you. 2 seconds. Okay, perfect. Look at this over here. You can absolutely do this on the chair. So the beauty about the yoga that we're running here is that there's no right and wrong. It's only what works for you now. So you can grab a seat on the chair. There we go. Yes, is that a bit more relief? So you can do the same thing. So what we're doing, yes. All right, so I'll know that to be able to give you the modifications for the chair. All right, so from here we can go down again. So in the case of the chair, I'm going to go down to the ground. All right, loosen the shoulders, inhaling. Hands clasped, we're going to be reaching to your left and my left, your right. Sorry, sometimes I'm trying to mirror. Alright, so you just copy the other side if I say it the wrong way. I'm teaching my brain new things. Inhaling, exhaling as we lengthen and reach for the sky. Inhaling now, back to center, and then exhaling down. Alright, maybe loosen our head and hands, so then that way when we go to the next one, we're nice and loose. Inhaling. Inhaling and puffing up like a balloon. Hands come across, and then we exhale as we reach for the sky, simultaneously spiking our opposite sit bone down into the ground or into the seat for 2 full breaths. Exhaling, trying to lengthen. Perhaps you might notice your side ribs extending as we breathe out. Fantastic work. Breathing into the center again. And exhaling down. This time we're going to be incorporating a twist. We'll be turning that way. Right, so inhaling, hands up. You'll be turning to your right. I'll be turning to my left. So keeping your head up. Right, we're going to reach our hand across. So instead of leaning, right, let's imagine. Let's break this down a little bit. We're going to get our hand and we're going to put it across the knee. This hand is just going to be a support, and we're thinking about it like at the kebab shop, right? So that spins around, it doesn't go on its side. So let's just think about we're rotating this way, and we're just keeping the length in our back, and perhaps then you might want to look over your shoulder. So once we're feeling a stretch, we inhale, and then we exhale, and perhaps we might want to look over our shoulder like we're changing lanes in the car for 2 breaths. Exhaling. Each time we're trying to lengthen a little bit more, whether that's stretching more, inhaling, or just in our mind stretching more. You'll feel that on the side body. Inhaling now as we come out of that, corkscrewing out, reaching for the sky, and then exhaling through the mouth like a balloon. Inhaling again. We're going on the other side now, reaching the hand across, back hand comes down, and then we're stretching like this. All right, so I want you to take 2 breaths here. I'm going to get my chair to show you how to do that with the chair. That's perfect there. You're doing it absolutely correct. So with the chair, you can actually use the side of this as a little bit more. So placing the opposite hand on our knee, and you've got that there. So then that way we're still keeping nice and straight through our body. Fantastic work. All right, now, so breathing in, coming out of that, and then releasing back down. All right, so we'll do this one more time. So what we're doing is, when I say lengthen, all right, is when we breathe in, we're filling our body full of air. But then when we release, what we're trying to do is reach a little bit further, but we're not trying to overly reach, right? So we're just feeling that stretch as we come around. So let's try that. Inhaling. I'm going to rotate around. So now we're here, right? You don't actually need to turn all the way around. So visually, We're breathing in, we back off the stretch a little bit, and as we breathe out, then we could turn it on that little bit more and feel the stretch come on. And that's being aware of our body. All right, so one more time. Inhale, exhaling, reach, sorry, we've got one more. Inhaling, and then reach. Coming out of it now, we inhale. As we come out, under control, and then exhaling. So a lot of the breathing is deliberate, so then that way we can connect our movement to the breath. All right, so let's go one more time, turning the other way, inhaling. Exhaling now, reaching across. Arm provides the support. Coming up straight here, maybe looking over our shoulder. Inhaling for one. Exhaling, perhaps reaching a little bit further. One more time, inhaling. Fantastic. As we now come out of it and down. Fantastic. All right, let's make our way now to our hands and knees. And if you're on the chair, I'll give you a modification. So you might want to have your knee pads, if that works for you today. So you can grab the knee pad and place your knees there. But what we're looking now is going to what we call tabletop. So if we have a look and we're on our knees are underneath our hips, hip width apart, and then we're going to place our hands so that our hands are splayed. So open up our hands a little bit so it's like we've got a little bit of gap, and the shoulder width apart. Fantastic work. And our shoulders and hands are underneath our knees. So this is tabletop. All right, so what I want you to do while everyone's here, everyone that's got on the floor in tabletop, is maybe just shift backwards and forwards, feel what you might need here, and perhaps grip with your hands. With the chair, tabletop can look like this. Yes, fantastic work. All right, so we're slightly bending our knees, and what we're looking for, yes, with the hands you can come in like this. Perfect. So either way that works on the chair, the movement's exactly the same. So what we're feeling for now is those little bits of our shoulder blades. We're feeling for our knees and our hands. So perhaps even maybe tuck your toes, or if you're in your shoes, is lift the heels up just to feel how that goes. Right? With our fingertips, perhaps you might want to grip the mat and see how that feels. Right? Or push the mat away. Right, so we're going to start off now with our tabletop and do what we call the first one of our sequences, which is the cat and the cow. But let's just work on that first and break it down into stages. So from here, and then you'll be able to do this in the chair as well, is let's just maybe dip our shoulders and then squeeze our shoulder blades together, right? And then we exhale and then come back up. So inhaling, dip our shoulders down, squeeze them together, and then exhaling. All right, I'm going to come in and have a look. Excellent. So inhale as we go down, and then exhale as we push up. Yes, and so you should be feeling for your shoulder blades being able to go in. So as we inhale, squeeze them together, and then exhale as we push the ground away. So pushing the ground away, or even from our chair, we're just dipping, and then we're pushing away. Dipping down, and then pushing away. Excellent work, everyone. Yeah, so we should be, with your shoulder blades, just squeeze them together and then push away with your hands. Yes. And only needs to be a small movement. Right, so we're just feeling for the back of our back body to come apart and come in. All right, fantastic work, everyone. All right, so from here, we're now going to add to that and then dip our belly. So if you watch here, looking at my feet and hands, what we're doing is we're dipping our belly and then squeezing our shoulder blades together. And then the last thing we're doing is we're looking forward. So if you look at your hand and then look at my hand, right, I'm only looking forward here. I'm not looking with my neck and putting pressure on the base of my neck. That's where lots of people can, you can have a likelihood of injury if you're really dumping on your neck. So just keep your gaze and then look it forward. So what we're doing is inhaling, and then dipping our belly, reaching our tailbone up, and then perhaps looking forward, right? And that's the belly. And then stage 2, that's the inhale. We're going to exhale, we're going to push the ground away. We're going to arch our back, and then the last thing that goes is our chin. So inhaling, dipping the belly, looking forward, and then exhaling as we push the ground away and round our back. So I'm just going to ask you to do that now as we inhale. Dip the belly. Yes, that's the same with the chair. Dip the belly. It's only a small movement. And then exhaling, we're pushing away, chin to chest as we round our back. Inhaling, exhaling. In physio world or in any movement, it's called what we're articulating our spine now. And we're just gently warming up that spine for further movements. Excellent. So dipping in, looking forward, and then exhaling, pushing the ground away. Right, so maybe tuck your toes now and see how that feels with the difference, right? Inhaling and then exhaling, and then the pelvis changes. Yes, excellent work there. Nice work there, Lindsay. There you go, excellent. There you go. So one more. Inhaling, dipping the belly, and then exhaling, pushing the ground away for our extension. All right, fantastic work, everyone. So this is the next one. All right, so if we look at me for a moment, that's our cat-cow. What I'm going to ask you to do now is from here, we're going to be stretching our side legs just to build on it. So from here, putting our right leg out to the side. You can do this with the chair as well. I'll show you in a moment. You can choose to have your leg tucked or not. And then we're going to take our hands one step forward from where we were. So we'll start off in our tabletop. Step 1, inhale. Exhaling, leg out. So even in the chair. So out by the side. So our foot is down on the ground and you can feel the side of our foot stretched out. Okay, so maybe we lift that up and then see where our ankle's going, right? So it doesn't need to be so far out. So what we're doing is just looking to roll the ankle over and have a flat foot with the blade of the foot. Yes. So from here, excellent work. So what we're doing, put a little bit more. There we go, parallel, and pushing on the side of that foot. Yes. From here, hands are forward a little bit. From here we inhale. We're going to take our shoulders over our hands. Try and grip the mat. And then exhale, we're pushing back. Pushing our tailbone back and the ground away. And then you might be able to feel that stretch on the inside of your leg. Inhaling, your adductors in your leg. Exhaling. All right, beauty. So we're stretching that bit. Inhaling as we come forward, and then exhaling as we come back. Can you feel that as well in the chair with the inside of the leg? One more time, inhaling, exhaling. All right, so we're going to move our hands back now for the moment. We're opening up our hips as well for our standing sequence shortly. So we're going to get our leg and lift it up, and we're going to bring it back over the other side. 2 times, lifting the leg up, tapping it down, and then back over. Maybe you might feel that hip joint opening up a little bit more, and then down. So from here, inhaling and then setting the foot back to tabletop. Fantastic work. So now what we're going to doing, I'm going to turn around this way, so you fellas can see it, is looking at our hands. Again, we're always setting up the correct way, like a way and then building on it. So not the correct way, my bad, with that cue. Hands are out. So from here, legs out. Our leg is straight out to the side. Yes, and our foot is pushing on the side blade of the foot. Fantastic. You can bring your leg back a little bit more, so it's even with your knee. That's it. Perfect. All right, excellent work there. So inhaling, bring the weight forward. And then exhaling, pushing the ground away and feeling the adductor stretch a little bit more. So we're going to inhale, come forward, just over to here, and then push back. There we go, bending that leg. So can you feel the inside leg stretch? Fantastic work. And how this looks, right, is it's all relative to you. So if you can feel a stretch where I'm guiding it, that's the right move for you on the day. All right, fantastic work. All right, so here intuitively, we're moving forward, we're coming back, and then stretching that inside of our leg. So from here, we're going to come back to tabletop. So inhaling, lifting the leg up, and then crossing it over, and then using our abs to bring it back. So we're doing some core work here at the same time. Inhaling, one more time, lifting the whole weight of the leg. Foot comes down, inhaling, and then exhaling, coming back down. So we've stretched our adductors. From here, the next one we're going to be doing is coming up to our standing position. So let's maybe tuck our toes. So from here, we're going to inhale, exhale, push the ground away and lift our feet, yes. And then from here, push back, push your bum back, now push it up. Now let's take our gaze to our feet. All right, you're in your first downward dog. Bend your knees as much as you need. Think belly to thighs. All right, so I'm going to quickly show you this. Let's have a look. That's amazing work. With the chair, downward dog. Have a look at the chair. So just feel that, guys. All right, excellent. So you can explore pedaling your feet as well. Right, feeling the back. So the thing about downward dog is thinking belly to thighs. You can bend your knees as much. If we're in the chair, bend your knees and then push the ground away. That's your downward dog. All right, so what we want to do is we're pedaling. You're just lifting up your legs. Feeling the stretch in the back of the legs as we pedal in. All right, so from here, we're coming up to our standing. So let's get back into let's rest for a moment, come back to tabletop, and then I'll work our way up so that we can come to standing. So from here, tabletop. Excellent work, tucking in our toes, feeling the stretch behind here. So inhaling, exhaling as we push the ground away, lifting up the knees. Now we're going to push our hands away and move our tailbone back, and then take our gaze to our feet. You can do the same thing here on the chair. So we're looking at our feet now. So from here we inhale, and then we're going to take little steps with our feet, or you can move your hands in if that's more comfortable for you, until our hands meet our feet. Bend your knees. From here, we're just going to go nice and loose. Think about belly on your thighs. So from here, we won't need the chair anymore. So if you're going to be, I'll just put this to the side. So from here, yes. Excellent work. So we're looking at our feet. Our belly's on our thighs. All right. If you need to take the call, then take the call. That's cool. Right, our hands are dangling down. From here, we're going to now rise up slowly, pushing away on our heels, one vertebrae at a time, rolling out of it. Our hands will come up, standing to straight. So we can come out of that, push up against your heels, man. Come up, standing straight. Boom. From here, hands out. Inhaling to the sky, and then hands down the center line as we breathe out, and then finishing up in our standing pose. Now this pose is called Tadasana, or mountain pose, and is the first of our sort of grounding poses. And although simple, it actually can be quite a bit of a workout when we're starting to push for it. So what we're looking at in mountain pose, well, I'm not going to turn my back to this. So from here, let's look down at our feet. Maybe we might want to rock backwards and forwards, feeling the ball of our foot and the heel. Perhaps you might want to come up on your toes a little bit. That's all right for some snap, crackles and pops. While we're bending our knees a little bit. All right, just feeling there. Okay, so now we're going to come to some stillness. And looking down at our feet is having them hip width apart. Now, in some other yoga as well, sometimes they'll ask you to put your legs together. For me, as a bloke, I don't really like the feeling of that on my hips. So it's more comfortable to have my legs apart, hip width apart. Knees facing forward, toes facing forward, equal distribution on the feet. So the next one is our knees are slightly bent, or we call that a micro bend, all right? So we don't want to be locking out. So when I say micro bend, it's just bending the knees slightly, so then that way we're not locking it out this way. Do you see the difference there? So maybe we could have a look at that, right? Except if you've done your knees, you'll be able to know what it is if you're pushing back to lock it out. All right, so slight micro bend in the knees. Let's put our hands on our hips, and then we're feeling for these different things. So let's just maybe feeling the tilt of our pelvis go backwards and forwards, right? That's our pelvic tilt. When we say tilt, or when we say tuck the tailbone, we're talking about this. When we say duck bum, that's duck bum, and then this is tucking the tailbone. All right, so this will become important as we progress through some of the moves. You'll say tuck your tailbone. That's what we're looking for, and what that does is it reduces the likelihood of compression on our lower back, so then that way we can have that length in the lower back to be stable in our position. All right, so from here, I'm going to tuck our tailbone a little bit. I like to keep my hands out like this because my shoulders are quite broad. So for me, it works like this. Mountain pose, you can also have hands by your side here. So whatever works best for you. Let's just explore that now. So tucking our tailbone. So this is where you might feel that your shoulders are most relaxed without forcing them open or back. Fantastic work. So that's just naturally how the shoulders will be sitting. Maybe we can just jiggle our shoulders and feel for the back of our shoulder blades. All right, excellent work. So from here, this is mountain pose. Chin is slightly dipped, so we're thinking about the top of our head going from to the top of the sky. So that long line from our heel to the top of our head when we're standing in this position, you can actually feel that there's a little bit of work. So maybe we might want to give your quads or the top of your legs a bit of a squeeze, and then breathe in and see what that difference is. As we breathe in, how you can ground in. So inhaling, and then pushing away, and then exhaling. All right, so let's do this two more times so we can feel this. Inhaling, exhaling. Hear that? One more time. Inhaling, exhaling. Fantastic work. All right, so we're going to add to this now for our first forward fold. And I'm going to show you two different ways because it's really important to be able to have this so we don't overstretch the back of our legs to start off with. We're going to be I'll demonstrate first, inhaling to the sky. From here, when we come down, you can choose to have your hands come down, but we're bending our knees. And I'm thinking about belly to the thighs. From here, I'm just then going to place my hands down. Last thing to go is my head. So that's where we're going to be going in a minute. And then we're feeling for this rounding of the back is just lengthening our back and resting our belly onto our thighs. Okay, so that's the way we'll start off with our first forward fold. All right, and then when we come back up and we breathe in, we're going to be pushing on our heels. We could run our hands on our legs as we then uncurl our spine. Hands come back like we spoke about just before to the roof and then back down. So that's what we're doing, this first combination of our mountain pose. So from here, looking at our feet, hands shoulder width apart. So feet shoulder width apart, hands, shoulders in a natural position. From here, inhaling, hands look to the sky, and then we exhale through our mouth as then we bend our knees, hinge from our hips, loosen your hands. Hands might meet the ground, or you can use a block here if that works for you as well. You could use the block. Hands, our bellies on our thighs. Now think about your head, loosen it off, and I want to see some yes and no's with you so that you'll know that you've loosened your neck. Right, let go of that. So from here, what I want you to be looking out for, or seeing if you could notice, is from your tailbone on your lower back is feeling a stretch there. Perhaps you might also be feeling a stretch across your shoulder blades where we tried earlier on. And then loosening your necks again. Let's see some yes and no's. Fantastic work. So we're going to now inhale. As we come up, hands along at the front of your legs. As we unfurl slowly, one spinal vertebrae at a time. Hands, inhaling to the top, and then down. All right, so let's just loosen off. If you've got some water or you need a quick drink. Like I said, guys, I want to be able to take it slowly, so then that way when we're doing the moves, you're feeling for those certain bits and connecting the breath to the movements. All right, so let's do this a couple more times before we move on to the next one and add on to that. From here, look at our feet. We can shake backwards and forwards. Toes. All right, it's really important with our feet because we balance on them so much. Just to give them that bit of TLC. All right, hands, slight bend in the knees, tucking the tailbone, hands out. Fantastic work, everyone. Inhaling, looking up to the sky, and then from here we then hinge down. You can reach forward now, bend your knees. Now belly will hit your thighs, loosen your hands. Last thing to do is your head. I want to see some yes and no's there, so then that way you can see that you're giving them loose. Fantastic work. Let's take 2 breaths here. Inhaling, exhaling, letting go of your stomach. So let go of gripping your stomach to pull it in. One more time, inhaling, and then letting go. Perhaps this time as well now, grab your hands. So leave your feet where you are. Now, you want to grab our elbows with each hand. All right, this is what we call ragdoll, and maybe you might want to rotate your elbows around and sort of shake from side to side. This is what we call ragdoll. All right, it's another sort of loosening stretch of our lower back and our shoulders. Coming to some stillness now. Hands come back down to the ground, and we're going to inhale to come up. Inhaling, 1 vertebrae at a time. If you need to stop midway to exhale, and then inhale again. As we come to the top, that's all cool, and then down. Right, so if we run out of breath on the inhales, right, so ideally you'd like to be able to do 1 long inhale. For me, that's not always the case. I just stop and then go again, all right? So there's no right and wrong with it. All right, let's just do this one more time so we can get this last feel for it. Tadasana, mountain pose, inhaling. Hands to the sky, exhaling, hinging from our hips, belly to thighs, hands meet mat, head gets loose, yes and no's. All right, from here we breathe in, hands come up to our elbows, and we're going to let our front body dangle a little bit more, and maybe we might give it some TLC by shaking to the side. Fantastic work. It doesn't need to be a big movement. We're just feeling to loosen up our lower back. From here, hands meet mat. We're going to inhale as we push the ground away with our heels and then evenly with the balls of our feet, going to our mountain pose. Last one now. Hands come up and then down. All right, we're going to be adding to that in a moment. All right, so this next one is halfway lift. I'm going to quickly demonstrate. From this position, what we're looking to do now is stretch this back part of our body, right? And I call it the bookshelf. It's called halfway lift, where from here, we're going to then breathe in, pushing away with our feet, like a bookshelf. Our hands are the supports, and we're looking to lengthen our back and looking straight down at the ground. That is our halfway lift. And then we're going to exhale and come back down and do this a couple of times. So we're thinking bookshelf and then lengthening our back, and then when we come back down is bending our knees. All right, so let's do this together. Now, you always, if you're finding it difficult to touch the ground today, you can use the block here, which brings up the ground. All right, so I'll leave this here in case you need it to see a view. All right, so from here, look at our feet, shaking backwards and forwards. Fantastic work. Hands, shoulders. Inhaling. Looking to the sky as we exhaling, hinging at our hips, bending our knees, belly to thighs. Last thing now, our hands meet the mat or the block, and then we're going to give ourselves some yes and no's. From here, breathing in as we grab our elbows, and then give a little side action, ragdoll. From here, hands come back down to ground. We're going to breathe in and come up. Bring your hands along your thighs, along your shins, and we're straightening our back to halfway lift. So from here, thinking about extending our legs, flat back, and looking forward. From here, we're going to exhale, come back down, loosen our head. We're back in our forward fold. Let's do this 2 more times so you get a feel for it. So inhaling, bookshelf, hands come in as supports. When we're pushing our shins, you might feel like your head's actually going forward a little bit, so we're just going to try and lengthen our back. And then exhaling. Fantastic work, everyone. One more time, inhaling. Yes, straightening the legs, looking forward, flat back, looking straight down. Amazing. And then down one more time. And we're coming up now to our mountain pose. Inhaling, coming up to stand. Fantastic. Shoulders come back at the end of that. And then feeling our hands look up to the sky and then down. All right, so we might need that chair to come up to the front here. We'll add to this. So this is part of what we call sun salutations. All right, so this is the first part. We're starting to warm up now. In a yoga sequence, well, usually part one of a yoga sequence is arriving on the mat, starting to articulate the spine a little bit. Step two, as we start to warm up a little bit more, is this sort of type of sequence where we're doing what the sun salutations are, standing, balancing, and then also starting to move the spine a little bit more. So from here, sorry, I've got my back to you, so we'll add to this. From here, if it's difficult, I'll go with the chair. If it's difficult to go into our push-up position, what we're doing is taking our legs back and then coming forward over our hips to a push-up position. So if from our halfway lift, we're going to take one step back. Hello. How you going? And we're leaning, yeah, that's all right. That's okay. You're all welcome next week, 12 o'clock. All right, so from here, I'll guide you through it. So I'll demonstrate. So we're down on the ground. We do our halfway lift. From here, we're going to plant our hands down. Step one leg back, placing the weight over our shoulders. Step two, to our push-up position. If the push-up position isn't accessible right now, you actually come down to your knees again, and it's kind of like the tabletop, but we're leaning forward a little bit more. Okay, so we'll explore that and find out which move is best for you today. All right, okay, so from here, all right, we're going to our mountain pose. Come to the front of the mat so you don't run out of real estate when we step back into our push-up position. Fantastic work. All right, from here, inhaling, hands come up. Fantastic work. Exhaling, hinging at our hips, knees bend, hands meet mat. We're going to inhale to our bookshelf or halfway lift. We'll do this twice. Exhaling, down so you get a feel for it. One more time, inhaling, stretch the legs, bookshelf, and then down one more time. From here, if you're going to be doing the push-up, you might want to plant your hands on the mat, left leg back, right leg back, and we're in our push-up position. Excellent work. Fantastic. Pushing the ground away with our hands. We're pushing our our heels back, and then our weight is over our hips. So you're going to stay there. We're going to breathe in, breathe out. Fantastic work there on the chair as well. Inhaling, exhaling. So from here, first round is we're coming, I'll do the chair in a moment, so if you want to stand up from the chair. From here, if you want to watch, guys, so just come down to your knees, take a knee, yep. So the next part of this is we've come into our push-up position. From here, we're lowering down, so it's like a push-up. So inhaling, and then we're going to come down. All right. Ideally, that'll be the second round. First round, we might come down, knees, and then lowering down, chest and chin at the same time. Then untucking the toes, and we'll meet with our head down here, like that. Okay? So let's come back up now to our push-up position. And then we'll do the one with from there. Inhaling, shift your feet forward now, lower down, push up, excellent, until under control. Yep, all the way to the ground. Yeah, untuck your toes, and then hands down. Yes, perfect. All right, so with this now, so if you push up again, you try that a couple of times. With our chair, we're just leaning down, and then keeping our elbows in. Yes, so just as far as you can go. There we go. That's it. That's all you need to do. All right, perfect. Push up. down, push up. Fantastic work. All right, fantastic. That's good, everyone. All right, so let's now start from the start, and we'll come back to this position. So then that way we get a feel for the sequence. Making our way to the feet. Last bit for today's sequence, and then we'll get onto the ground and do some other hip opening stretches. Okay, let's look at our feet. Half Sun Salutation A. Looking at our feet backwards and forwards. Excellent work. Hands and knees. Inhaling as we look up to the sky. Exhaling as we hinge at our hips. Belly on thighs. Hands meet the ground or the block. Head does some yes and no's. All right, we might be feeling our shoulder blades are stretching. Now we're going to inhale, stretch our back legs, bookshelf, straightening our back, looking straight down at the ground, exhaling and deflating like a balloon again. All right, one more time, inhaling, bookshelf, amazing work, and then exhaling. Now we're coming to our push-up position. So you did the last one, so hands meet mat or meet the chair. I'll do the chair style with you. Left leg back, right leg back. Inhale to shift your weight over your hands. And then exhale as we lower down with our push-up until we hit the ground. Untuck your toes. And then yes, that's it. So from there, okay, fantastic. So we're at our position now. Excellent work. And we can come out of that, everyone. And shall we? Well, we've got some time. Actually, I just wanted to show that with the chair, so I don't want you doing push-ups the whole time, right? So from here, usually we'll be lowering down a little bit, and then the next sequence then is just to then dip our hips, right? So dip your hips. You can keep your feet bent. That's where we're going to be going. Let's do this one more time. So from here, I'll show everyone on the ground, demonstrate. We're here. Our elbows are back and our feet are untucked. We then do what we call baby cobra. So we're inhaling like someone's pulling us back from our shoulders and our shirt. We don't need to pull back on our neck. We're just looking up a little bit like we did last time. So pushing the ground away and our shoulders are coming back. And then we exhale. And then the next part is pushing the ground away, tucking our toes, and we're nearly in our push-up position again to then come to downward dog as we tried earlier on. So I'll talk you through it with our chair demonstration. We're going to do our little push-up. Then you're going to tuck in. And then you're going to push your bum back. Yes, and then stand up. Yeah. Got it? Okay, let's talk through it. So from here, let's do this one more time before we start to go to our cool down sequence. All right, Sun Salutation A, feet shoulder width apart, hands out, inhaling, exhaling as we hinge at our hips, hands meet mat, head comes loose, bookshelf halfway lift, inhaling. We're going to exhale one more time. Inhaling, lengthen your spine, lengthen your back of your legs. Exhaling, we're coming down to our push-up now. So from here, left leg back, right leg back. If we're in our chair, we then might want to lean our weight forward, inhaling. Everyone who's in the push-up position. And exhale to lower. And then from here, if we're in the chair, pushing our hips forward. That's it. And then exhaling as we push the ground away. Oh, sorry. I had a mental blank. Inhale as we do our little baby back bend. Exhale, come back down. Inhale, push the ground away, meeting at our feet. So we're going to push our ground away. Tuck our toes. Tuck your toes. Sorry, incorrect. My bad. Sorry, guys. From here, we're going to tuck our toes, push the ground away, come up to our knees, and then lift our legs, and then come into our downward dog position. Yes, excellent work. So from here, with the chair, we pretty much come back to here. And then from here is walking our feet up to our hands or walking our hands back to our feet. Lots of little steps, pushing the ground away. Excellent, until we come to stand. So once we're at our feet, then we breathe in, come to stand. Yes. All right, excellent work, everyone. Amazing. All right, so there's a couple of little sequences here. That's just a warm-up, right? So we'll work on that over the next few weeks, but I just wanted to see where everyone was at with it. And then we'll do some points at the end. All right, so let's make our way to the ground. Amazing work. All the hard work's done now, everyone. All right, so from here we can make our way down. Grab your strap. And as we progress, I'll put some music on, but for now it's just, let's not have any music on so we can concentrate on the cues. All right, from our back, you can do this seated as well. Actually, let's do some, we can push these off, so then we can do the chair. We can do the chair pose. So from here, we call this staff pose. So let's all put our feet together. You can have the strap here as well. That could help with something. So from here, hands are going to come by the side. Neutral shoulders, maybe feel for your sit bones. So if we jiggle a little bit, so come to the front of your chair a little bit more. There we go. So now stretch your legs out, toes pull back. Yep, that's it. Soft knees, that's it. So now we're in our staff pose, or dandasana they call it. So we could just maybe have a look. So with your hands, just maybe push there again, and feeling for the back of our shoulders, right? Pull your toes back as we lengthen. Right, so from here, this might come in handy with our strap, so we can probably loop that around our feet. Okay, so from here, toes are back, knees are together, we're feeling our sit bones in the ground. All right, this is like a head to knee pose, but from here our hands are out. And this is all we're going to do with the hands, we're not going to pull them out anymore. So from here, we're going to inhale, grow tall, and we're going to exhale. We're going to pull our hands, but we're not pulling our shoulders out. And then we're reaching forward. Once we can't reach forward anymore, loosen your head. All right. That's the stretch. Should be aiming to be able to still breathe, right? But feeling the back of our legs, perhaps our calves as well. Let's take 2 breaths here. Inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Inhale to come out of it. Shaking that off. All right, and we could go one more time. So pulling the toes back is one thing, right? That always gives us a little bit more length and stretch even before we move forward. So the aim of this isn't to touch your head to your knees. It's about keeping length in your spine as we move forward. That's why when we pull with our hands, we can just dip our elbows, and we're kind of like pulling out from our tailbone. Just like when we were standing up, you'll have that feeling and sensation that we're lengthening the bottom of our spine. So from here, inhale, so we're stretching up, and then exhaling as we pull on the strap, elbows come down. Last thing to do is our head, and we're loosening our head for 2 breaths here. Exhaling, one more breath, exhaling, inhale, letting go, and we can cut that away. All right, we're going to find our way to our back. Are you comfortable with lying on your back, or we could do it better? Okay, so maybe we could give you a bit of assistance. That's last little bit. There we go. There we go. Boom. Oh, next time we'll put this down. So we're going to find our way onto our backs, everyone. However you get there is the way to go. So we'll just end, before we go into what we call the final resting pose, or shavasana, with a couple of little twists from here. So from here, let's place our feet flat on the ground, bending your knees, shoulder width apart. Hands could come out wherever's comfortable for your shoulders. All right, what we're going to do is now we're going to call, it's called flossing. So just waving our knees from left to right. So inhaling, we're going to drop our knees to the left first. But what we're aiming for is they don't need to touch the ground, right? What we're aiming to have is both shoulder blades touching the ground, right? So then we'll feel the stretch in the side body. So we're going to inhale our legs back up to straight, and we're going to exhale, letting our legs drop down to the other side. for another breath, full breath here. Exhaling, feel for the side body. Inhaling, bring our legs up to straight, and then dipping it to the other side. So what I want you to do now is just close your eyes down, right, the hard work's done, and then feel for the side body expanding as we take 2 breaths in. Inhaling, exhaling, feeling like you're getting heavier with all the exhale. One more time. Exhaling, inhaling to bring our legs up. Last side, as we exhale, dropping our legs to the other side for 2 full breaths. Exhaling, letting go of the grip in the belly. One more time. Inhaling our legs up, and then letting them lengthen out like we're going to be going to sleep. From here, you can close your eyes down. Alright, allow your shoulders to get heavy. And this is what we call the final resting pose or shavasana. Can't turn this light off, that's okay. So from here, keeping your eyes closed, the final resting pose is one of the most important poses in yoga because it allows all the hard work that we've done to be able to bed in to our body. It also allows our heart rate to go down, as well as us to be able to go internal and make a comparison to see how the body felt between the start of the session and between after the session. We don't need to shape our breath, and can also be one of the hardest positions to be in because our monkey mind starts to come into mind and we start checklisting and thinking about the things that we're doing. And that's what the point about yoga is to be able to set in for the last bit and allow ourselves to get into a bit of a meditative state. We won't stay in Shavasana for too long today. We'll start to curl our fingers by coming back into our body, letting your fingers go. Maybe we might want to wiggle our toes. Fantastic work here. Right, we might reach overhead, hands overhead, like we're waking up in the morning. Point your toes in a big stretch. Inhale and then exhale. Perhaps we might want to lift our legs up and give ourselves a hug. Bring your knees in. Fantastic work. Roll from side to side, loosen up the lower back. And then from here is pick a favourite side and just come onto your side for a couple of breaths. So pick a side that feels most comfortable for you. It doesn't matter which side, just the fetal position or the side position. Alright, this is the first position for the rest of the day. And then from here, use your top hand to push up, and we'll all meet in easy seat or wherever you find yourself comfortable. Fantastic work. So we could cross our legs down. Okay, from here we could close down the eyes and take one last collective breath now through our nose and then side out. One more time, inhaling, exhaling. And this is where we close off the practice now. We're going to bring our hands together in the front of our chest. We call this prayer. Right, hands together, and then what we're going to do now is bring our thumbs to between our eyes in our prayer position to clarify thought. Thumbs down to your lips to clarify speech. What we say internally and externally is so very important. And then bring it back down to our heart center or between our chest to clarify intent. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today and for allowing me to guide you through this 60-minute beginner yoga flow. I'll be hanging out afterwards if you have any insights or questions, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Namaste.